It wouldn't be March Madness without the Cinderellas, and I have a 3-leg parlay filled with mid-majors hoping to slide into those glass slippers. Let's get started with the trendy upset pick, at least in the Twitterverse, and that's UC San Diego over Michigan at plus 115 on the money line. The dreaded 12-5 upset for the Big Ten tournament champions. Now, the Tritons have a calling card here. They turn you over, and they never turn it over themselves. It's why they have the second best turnover margin in the last 8 years of college basketball. Now, Michigan, fresh off that tournament victory in the Big Ten, this will be their 4th game in a week. They're going to be gassed, and they're going to be playing at altitude. Toss in the fact that they're really sloppy with the basketball, that could be a fatal flaw for the Wolverines. Now, the natural pushback in this matchup is that Michigan can counter with 2 7-footers on the floor at the same time in Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden. Their pick-and-roll game can be very difficult to prepare for, and could they overpower the undersized UC San Diego Tritons? Potentially, but the Tritons have been here before. Their biggest competition in the Big West was UC Irvine, who was anchored by a 7'1" German, Bent Leuchten, who was incredible on the defensive glass, made it difficult to score in the paint, yet in their 2 wins they won going away and they swarmed him with his own defense. He had 7 turnovers in those 2 losses. The name to get to know here in this matchup, though, is Uniwaniwa Tate Jones. Yes, you heard me correctly. The New Zealand native is an absolute superstar. He was the Big West Player of the Year, and he could go for 25-5 in an upset. Up next, let's take New Mexico plus 145 on the money line over Marquette in the 10 versus 7 matchup. Everything here is about guard play. Yes, Cam Jones is a borderline All-American. He can be a one-man team. He can elevate Marquette. But when he is not playing at his absolute best, this team is vulnerable, and New Mexico has a point guard to counter him in Donovan Dent. According to Evan Mia, he is in the 99th percentile of playmakers in the entire country. And when you're looking for momentum, since February 1st, these teams have been just about even per Torvik. Marquette 45th, New Mexico 48th. I think this is closer to a coin flip, so I'll take the value at plus 145. And finally, one last little nugget in terms of the coaching matchup here. Shaka Smart, phenomenal coach, great underdog, 6 first-round exits as a head coach in the Big Dance. All right, let's close things out with Drake catching 6.5 against Mizzou. Drake has lost by more than 6 just once the entire season, and a big reason for that is the manner in which they play. They grind games down to a halt. They play incredibly slow, methodically in the half court, and they don't have turnovers that lead to breakout buckets for the opposition. That's where Mizzou wants to live. Drake only has given away 6.2 points per game in transition. That's the lowest figure in all of college basketball. And the head coaching matchup, in my opinion, is a bit of a mismatch here as well. Dennis Gates gets all the credit in the world for turning around Mizzou year over year in the SEC, yet he only has 1 NCAA tournament win. Ben McCollum moving up from the D2 ranks, it's a cute story. Don't be fooled. This guy can coach his tail off. He was a 5-time National Coach of the Year at the D2 level. He's going to have a bigger job in short order. And for that reason as well, Drake always played better when facing better competition. In this field, per Evan Mia, they are the 5th best team when they're playing up. Something to keep in mind. And finally, the name to know when it comes to Drake is Bennett Sturtz. The 6'5 point guard is going to have the ball in his hands in crunch time. He's someone who is lights out as a 3-point shooter, and he has been on fire at the charity stripe. He has made 25 of his last 29 foul shots. So if there's some tense moments down the stretch, I trust Bennett Sturtz to get it done. So in terms of this parlay, we're going to start it with UC San Diego plus 115, go to New Mexico at plus 145 on the money line, and close it out hoping that Drake can keep it inside the number, catching 6.5 against Mizzou out of the SEC. You put it all together, you get a 9-1 payout. You could do a lot worse to make a great first impression in the first round of March Madness. Enjoy.